Okay, so now Elizabeth's going to share about the new moon coming up on May 22nd.
Thank you, Linda, and thank you for the wonderful Stargate opening. It was really helpful during this time of Gemini when there's so many planets in that mutable air sign, the mutable signs being gatherers and distributors of energy, information, um, gathering and distributing that energy. And in Gemini, being air, it likes to know everything and learn everything. It's I think. So there's a lot about, this time of, taking time because it's been such a unusual and challenging time on the planet for the last couple months with the isolation and not talking so much, except that we have been using Zoom and these other platforms because we are social beings and we like to be together. So it's interesting that we've been isolating, but in some ways it's brought people closer together in an unusual way. So Gemini, being that air sign, this new moon, there are so many planets in Gemini, as well as just a few days ago, the north node of the moon went into Gemini. So for the next 18 months, the collective consciousness is all about, how do we think? And Gemini is, the twins and looking at both sides. And you can see in the world there's a lot of division, even within people, with wearing the masks, not wearing, and you feel like an alien if you don't sometimes. Or so this Gemini is asking us to really go within, I feel like, to think for ourselves. And what is our truth? Like the opposite of Gemini is Sagittarius, which is the higher superconscious mind that's like one pointed, it's looking at the bigger picture. And Gemini is the dual mind that's looking at both sides. And then in Sagittarius, getting what your truth is. And I think that this is what we're being shown in the world, is we need to listen to our truth. And I think it's important lesson not to judge someone else's truth. I know that's been a big part of what I'm seeing is, wow, people that I didn't expect or feel a certain way, and that's their opinion, and people have free will and choice, and nobody's right or wrong. It's like, what is your truth? I think that's what this new moon is a lot about, because not only is the sun and the moon in the sign of Gemini, but Venus and Mercury are the exact same degree in Gemini. And I always see Gemini twins as really ultimately love and wisdom, Venus and Mercury. And when they're together in a chart, I always feel the person is a very good communicator, because Venus is the heart and Mercury is the mind. And ultimately it's being able to communicate from your heart, communicate from the heart. Not only is the sun, the moon, Venus, and Mercury, but also I have been using the four asteroids that were called the asteroid goddesses when Demetra George wrote a wonderful book back in whenever that was, early 70s, when the asteroids were really coming into our view more. And so the asteroid goddess, Vesta, I see the asteroids as the feminine expressions of the elements of fire, water, air, earth. And so Vesta being the keeper of the flame, the Vestal Virgins, I put this card of Vesta, which is the fire goddess, that says dedication and devotion, because Vesta is about being a pure vessel or channel for spirit to come through. So she's like the priestess energy that's dedicated and devoted. So here to bring information, Gemini, all these, it's called a stellium when there are so many planets, 4 or more in one sign. And Venus and Mercury are aligned to 2 stars, one known as the female warrioress of Orion, Bellatrix, and Capella, the mother goat that's the guide. So they're very much about feminine energies being way showers, the stars that are aligned to Venus and Mercury at 20 degrees of Gemini. So this not only is their air in the stellium, but there's a grand air trine when I use the asteroid goddess of water, Juno, in the horoscope, because she's in Libra at 5 degrees. So she creates a grand trine. And Juno, being the divine feminine, she's about the empowered woman, the bride, the queen who knows her worth. So on the card, it says equality and partnership. So she's all about being in cooperation and right relationship. And what Linda was sharing in the Stargate about the balancing of the divine masculine and feminine within us. And I really feel that Juno in Libra, because Libra is the sign of partnership and relationship and marriage and love, is creating this grand trine. And the other air sign is Aquarius, and Saturn is in Aquarius, trining the new moon, trining Juno. So it creates, the grand trine in astrology, which is where the energies flow the most harmonious. So, of course, Saturn in Aquarius, and before the planet Uranus was discovered, Saturn was the ruler of Aquarius. In Vedic astrology, they still use Saturn as the ruler of Aquarius. So you could say it's very strong in the sign of Aquarius. But when Uranus came in, it brought light, it brought new things. It's always about new technologies, it's new energies. So this beautiful grand trine with the sun and the moon, Saturn, and right next to Saturn is the other asteroid goddess, and that's Pallas Athene. And Pallas Athene is the air goddess. I don't know if you can see the symbol.
It's a little bit of a glare.
Yeah, it says truth advocate. So Pallas Athene is the goddess of wisdom, of air, of truth. And she's right next to Saturn, only 1 degree away. So this grand trine has the asteroid goddesses, Pallas Athene and Juno. Vesta is quite a ways from the new moon, but it's a very powerful new moon energy about listening to the divine feminine. And we have Venus has gone retrograde in Gemini on the 12th of May. And so Venus, of course, is the goddess of love, and it is the divine feminine expression. So having Venus retrograde at Gemini with this new moon, we're really being asked to tune into love, the heart, what's nurturing to us, and the divine feminine within us that wants to birth a new reality where we're in a safe, healthy planet together. So I felt like this new moon was really important to talk about. Is also very strongly placed in this new moon chart, and that is Ceres, Ceres, like cereal, because she's the earth mother. She's the goddess of earth, and she feeds us and nourishes and gives birth. And she is in Pisces, very close, conjunct Mars in Pisces. You know, so here in Pisces, which is the cosmic conscious energies, and Mars is the fiery, you know, Mars wants to fight sometimes. It's, you know, it wants to start something, it wants to initiate. And in Pisces with the Earth Mother, kind of saying, wait a minute, Mars, it's not time yet. We're working with Venus. We're like, you know, Venus is retrograde right now. Let's calm, you know, the waters over the fiery Mars energy with Ceres, the Earth Mother. So I felt like these asteroid goddesses are speaking to us, and are especially in this new moon, as the elements in their feminine expression are wanting to be given voice. We talked a little bit about Sedna, and Sedna right now is making a trine, an exact trine to Jupiter, same degree, 27 Taurus to 27 Jupiter. The 27 Taurus is also a star that's known as one of the most difficult dark stars, Algol. But it also has alignments to the Pleiades. So, you know, it's like bringing in the Pleiadian energies as well as this dark star that we're having to work with, which is a lot of dark energy. And the one thing about Pisces, that Neptune is in Pisces, the lower side of Neptune is like, what's real? Deception. You know, are we being told the truth? All of that coming up with Neptune. And then the other side of Neptune is, let's go to other dimensions and let's use our super conscious mind and tune into what is true for us and not just what we're being told. So the Neptune at 20 degrees is exactly square Venus and Mercury in the new moon chart, asking us to see beyond illusions to the highest truth that's within us. Mm-hmm. I think that the Aquarian age that I believe is being birthed at this time, this difficult time, is about sovereignty, you know, really listening to our truth and following that, because there's just so many, and I think that's the mutable sign in all the Gemini. It's the hands, Gemini, you know, and all the fingers, and one person saying this, the other saying that. It's like, what's my truth? And that we have this opportunity. The square, I see the square as forcing us to think out of the box, out of the square, you know. And so this Neptune, and why Linda and I wanted to bring these conversations, because we were having a conversation about Neptune and Pisces and how wonderful it is.
So thank you, Elizabeth. That was really, really helpful information. I love that you bring in the asteroids and the stars and other things. It's a real important piece of information that some of us don't always include. So I very much appreciate that. And I also want to mention to the people listening that those beautiful cards were created by you. And these are beautiful oracle cards that Elizabeth uses in her readings. And they are so helpful and so beautifully done. So I just want to acknowledge you on that. And I think they're available. Are they available on Amazon?
No, they're only available on my website, astro-oracle.com, and they're called Astro Oracle cards. And they were like a 30-year coming into finally manifestation in 2016. And I love color, and I love having the planet cards. Like this is Neptune. It's so beautiful. That's a photo from NASA. And this is the the logo for Astro Oracle. It's the Earth with the zodiac around them, around the Earth. And so, yeah, I was really happy.
Yeah, they're beautiful. And the card deck is complete with dwarf planets, Sedna and Eris are also included in it. And we have some information to share about both of those dwarf planets because they're playing a big part in our zeitgeist right now. So thank you for listening, and we'll be back.